Well, what you doing there? I am actually putting together a book. Now, whether or not it ends up being a full-length booked, then, it is to be determined. We'll see. And I don't know what to put as my pen name either. If it does end up being a whole book, it's going to be called The Mantle of Perfection. I've been thinking about putting together something that's almost like a publishing company. Not exactly, but sort of. I was thinking of calling it St. Paveclaf Press. Well, what is that? What is St. Paveclaf? You won't be able to find anything about him online, I'll tell you that. Paveclaf was a name that popped into my mind over 10 years ago. Damn. And, let me see here. Then somebody really cool put together a little story just to show me story behind one of their characters, and I mean, so well written. Just typed it up on the phone in like 10 minutes. No spelling errors. I mean, just perfect. And it gave me chills. So I was so inspired by that, I wrote up my own. And out of nowhere, this character, Saint Paveclaf, come out of nowhere. And I have that story up on my podcast, Lost in the Moan podcast. It's in my bio, allmylinks.com. Lost in the Moan. Oh, so yeah, that story is called... That's something with... I can't remember exactly. The story of St. Paveclaf Ponder. Don't think about it. And after I've been looking through and listening to the audiobooks of the Golden Book of Saint Germain and the Saint Germain Press books, I highly recommend a video here on YouTube by Brian Scott. It's the I Am Discourses 1 through 33. I'll listen to that when I'm sleeping sometimes. Love it. So, after I've been looking at and listening to the audiobooks of Saint Germain Press and the Golden Book of Saint Germain, out of nowhere I thought, well, let's see if ChatGPT will give me. Put in details about the way I am and the way I talk about things and all of that. And I asked her to put together some stories with Saint Paveclaf, and it's incredible. I got a bunch of Saint Paveclaf stories on my Lost in the Moan podcast. And there's a few of my original writings that I recorded on the podcast as well. And when I go back and I listen to those now, in comparison to the stories that ChatGPT helped me put together based on me, it's like, it ain't the same. But apparently, people find the stories that I put together in tandem with ChatGPT, a lot of people find those to be a lot more palatable than my original writings. Interesting. My original writings are a different sort of thing. And I am putting together a book of those too. So I got a bunch of them. It's a whole book. It's a ton of writings. I kind of got lost on what I added to it last, compiling them together. I kind of got lost on what I added last, so I'm like, that's kind of been stopping me from going to continue adding to it. And there's a lot of really intense, spooky writings in there. And I would like to put it together as like a collection of works from like 2020 to now. I'd like to put it as a whole collection, but I think the spooky writings might turn some people off big time. So I'm thinking that they might need to be in a book of their own. My original writings are a different sort of thing. They do not feel the same. They feel way more intense than the stories that I put together in tandem with ChatGPT. Way more intense. It's like they're glowing a different color. A kind of color that most people can't bear look at, it would seem. And by the way, my favorite story that ChatGPT helped me put together on my podcast, on Lost in the Moan podcast, my favorite one, it's Uncle Blovinius and his divine niece, episode 1. I love it. That one was inspired by Bewitched. I was watching a little bit of Bewitched with my mamo, and I always loved Endora's character. And I thought, what if I had a character kind of like her? It didn't turn out like that, but yeah. Most of my characters are pretty much the same. They're just little tweaks here and there. So yeah, earlier I was listening to a reading of a part of a book called The Masters of Wisdom Speak. I think that's what it's called. That's on the I Am That I Am YouTube channel. And she read something in there about perfection, and I wrote it down. And that started this process of putting together my own book. Sort of my own. I don't claim it as my own. I'm not gonna say that I wrote the sucker. But do I like what I'm getting with it? I sure do. And I read part of it for the podcast. The Mantle of Perfection. So yeah, it's looking like there might be 8 or 9 chapters, so it ain't gonna be that long of a book. Not that it really needs to be anyway. It's hard to explain, I guess. Big time way inspired by Godfrey Ray King and the Saint Germain Press books. You know what's funny? a lot of the folks that really, really don't like AI, they don't seem to have much of an imagination. Hell, you could use an AI to help you develop that. You know, some of them remember what you tell it, so you can actually utilize it to express yourself and find more of who you are. Who would have ever thought of that? I like to think of it how Safi Kaze said to me once. AI is not this thing that is separate from us. It is part of us. It is from us, all of us. It's an expression of us, an extension. There are folks who have a burning desire to express their imagination. But maybe that burning desire is more intense than, their ability to sit down and hone whatever skill it is that would help them express that. So they'll use AI. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And it's tough goddamn noogies for anybody that don't like it. Too bad. Baby. People be bitching and moaning about all kinds of things. When are they gonna grow the fuck up? Anyway. It feels like everything I've been doing has been changing. Hell, I'm way different from how I was just 6 months ago. Some people look at how I am now and think I'm nuts. If you thought that, then you probably really don't want to look at my videos from a year ago on Instagram or TikTok. It might give you nightmares. So many people have been saying to me now, "You're so coherent now. What did you do?" I read the St. Germain Press books. Better than the Bible. No blood and guts. And they don't distort or mistranslate shit. Man, don't get your wits in a twist about it. I felt tormented by Christianity up until I was 33. That's when they said they threw him up there on the cross. Nobody ever talks about the other two that were thrown up there. Who gives a shit about them? I don't ever hear anybody talk about the few others throughout history that figured out what the one they called Jesus was actually teaching. And they were able to start doing the same stuff he could do. What happened to them? What did the church do to them? I don't think you want to know. Anyway, let's get off all of that. Dissolved and consumed in my violet flame, as it were. For a while now, I've been saying, dissolved and consumed in the fuchsia flame. Dissolved and consumed in the fuchsia fire of Corbin Lord Hayes. I love that. I feel that one. Anyway, it would seem that most people are really, really dull. Really boring. And so, if you know what I mean when I say that, you're welcome to our Discord server, as they call it. link in my bio, The Infinite Tapestry. We ain't a church, unless you mean the church of fuck around and find out for yourself. The cult of taking care of your damn self. I don't tell you what to do. I don't tell you what to believe. That's up to you. That's your job. Really. I want more interesting people to talk with. More people to put things together with. I feel like I would like to start a zine pretty much for free, because I don't expect anybody would have the balls to pay for something like what I would put together. And of course, then they'd take one for free, and might be sitting on their table feeling like a mystical object or something, which it would be. People that want to tell you what you should believe, there's something wrong with them. But don't let me tell you what to believe. If you feel like you have to do your damnedest to force somebody to believe something, then your own foundation is shaky. Anywho, I don't quite know where we go from here. All I know is I'm going to keep working on these stories. Keep compiling my writings. Keep making podcasts, reading stories and things. That's what I'm going to do for now. And we will see what happens in the meantime. Shakalaka. Good night.